In this modern world, we have so much more than any generation ever had. People who were born in 1900s can now see flying cars. That's crazy. AI is like, I don't even know if people from the 90s thought about that, but we have so much more than any generation had, but still we're left with a loneliness epidemic. People are lost, miserable, and you can say that we will just trying to have fun, enjoy your life, but seems like that mindset is not working so well. So in this video, we'll be looking at some research and what some people said and come up with a conclusion that can probably help you better understand what's missing. So first I want to talk about Arthur Brooks. He is a Harvard professor and an author and maybe more, but I really like listening to him. He gave a talk about how to be happy, or the happiness, and one thing he said is that we are missing faith in our life. And he backed that up with some strong research. He shared that people from the time when he was born, around the time when he was born, only 1% of the world had no religious affiliation. But now it's 30%. That's crazy. Because now he compared that with people feeling nowadays, young people especially, feeling lonely, more lonely than ever, depressed, lost. So we see a decline in religious beliefs, in believing in God, and we see a decline in well-being and health, which is a pretty strong research pattern that I see. Another thing I want to talk to you guys about is Victoria Sinis is her name. I heard her on a podcast recently, and she's a formal OnlyFans employee, and she was talking about, so she used to work at an OnlyFans agency, and what their job was to people who are like girls who are trying to, get more men on their page and followers, subscribers, whatever it is. They would hire these agencies, and these agencies would market to them. They would text these people, message them, and something she said was like really interesting. She said we tried to lure, the process is to lure the men in, but the messages they would send out to men weren't necessarily seductive. They were more trying to create intimacy. They were trying to have a connection. And we see that it looks like men, so something, maybe the men aren't necessarily even looking for, just lust or something, but they were trying to fill their void of connection by engaging with these agencies or this girl that they liked. The agency also pointed out, we would send them messages like, hey, how are you doing? What are you doing right now? Things like that. Just something like maybe something that a wife would do, or so that just keeps the men connected. He feels loved and cared for. That's what people want. I see. That's the pattern I see. It's like we see that decline based off of that research. What we saw, a decline in health and well-being. People are feeling more lonely than ever. People are lost, miserable, depressed, and we see that connection with losing God. And then I'm seeing here that people are really looking for love. They are looking for connection. And the Bible teaches that we need to lay up our treasures in heaven. We cannot be satisfied from the things of this world. And I see that being played out. So what can truly satisfy us? I think it's God. I really think it's God. If you think about it, if you know God who loves you, whatever you're going through, you'll realize you're never alone. God is with you. And his love is never ending. I mean, I found Jesus last year in December, or in January this year. But since then, I've started to, develop my relationship with him, and my void that I was trying to fill with all these other bad things or the things of this world has been filled by something that is like not of this world. And that is what's like so, it's crazy. It's a miracle. I had tried for so long to fill that void, but it was always there. And that cup was always, it got to the point where it's empty. Because my short-term strategies weren't working. Because my mindset of just have fun wasn't working. So I found God, and that cup is now like overfilled, and it never runs out, which is just, it's just great. It just feels like if you're not with God, we're like away from the foundation. Like you're a tree and you're like away from the foundation of that tree, the roots of that tree. It's like you have this missing piece in you that is like never filled unless you come back to your core root that created you. And I have known God for like 6 months, but my life has changed. I've seen it, and it's just crazy because I used to struggle with depression and loneliness, and it's all gone. I feel loved, and it's just crazy. So I strongly think people need faith. It's the most meaningful life experience, the most meaningful relationship they can have in life. Some other things, I think, not more important than God, but I think these things come as you follow God as well, is love one another, improve your relationships. Because if you're social animals, we need relationships. So get relationships and improve them. And second, have a purpose in life. So ask God to give you a purpose. Let God use you. Be like God. It's like through a purpose, you can be useful to this world and to yourself and to your community. Unless your purpose is, I'm going to go eat that cookie right now. That's not a purpose. That's just a short-term pleasure. Have healthy long-term goals, like going to the gym, for example. These goals add meaning to our life. Do something that's tangible. Hold on to something that's strong. Hold on to something that never runs out. And that's God. And after that, these things, and God has made us to have purpose in life. Like you will actually feel good as you're moving towards an aim. And through that, you're being useful to this world. If you are doing nothing, you're hurting not just yourself, but the people around you. You're hurting this world. But if you're doing more, and like Jordan Peterson says, if you're doing nothing, it's not just you're, living your miserable life. You're hurting yourself because you have potential. You can be doing so much more. So that is why if you have a purpose in life, you can use that potential that you have to be useful to this world. So doing nothing doesn't just hurt yourself, it hurts others as well. But doing more, aiming up and moving towards that aim, being obedient to God, there's a ripple effect of positivity and optimization, and you're being that salt on this world that brings order to chaos. Those are some Jordan Peterson thoughts. He has influenced me a lot. But that's it for today, everyone. Thank you for watching, and feel free to check out these other videos related to God and or religion. Thank you.